So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at the iPhone 14 Pro Max versus the 11 Pro Max speed test. Let's begin with a boot up in 3, 2, go, and see which one can get there first. Now, the iPhone 14 Pro Max on the left does feature the Apple A16 Bionic chipset that's coupled with 6 gigabytes of RAM. Over here on the right, we are looking at the Apple A13 Bionic chipset coupled with 4 gigabytes of RAM, which Apple is still using quite a few phones with 4 gigabytes of RAM. So that's not too far behind on the iPhone 11 Pro Max, but you can see that the iPhone 14 Pro Max did boot up respectably faster, around 4 to 6 seconds or so. So definitely a faster boot up speed on the all new phone. I mean, it better be for the amount of money that Apple is charging for that device. Definitely faster so far. Now, when it comes to Face ID, I've noticed that there hasn't been any changes whatsoever. The Face ID system works exactly the same on both phones. However, the animation going in will look a little bit smoother on 13 Pro Maxes as well as this 14 Pro Max, simply because the ProMotion gives that animation a little bit of a smoother look. So you will notice that, but in terms of just Face ID opening faster, not really. And as of the recording of this video, we are running iOS 16.0.2 on both of these iPhones right here. So is latest and greatest. Now, before we go ahead and do the app test, I just want to showcase to you kind of how it does look scrolling on the home screens. Now, it's really not much different whatsoever. Just like with my iPhone 12 Pro Max, the only thing you really see is that the ProMotion display is a little bit smoother. Definitely noticeable, and it gives the overall system a little bit more of a polished look, especially when you begin to open up applications and swipe around. It's just a little bit choppier looking on the older 11 Pro Max. But the 11 Pro Max surprisingly performs very well here, even in 2022. So 14 Pro Max, smoother general performance, but you're going to have to look closely to see it. It's not the biggest deal in the world. That's why they still launch iPhones like the upcoming iPhone 14 Plus with this same 60 hertz style panel right here. All right, so we've arrived at the app test. You can see everything is closed out for both phones. If you're seeing on the left, the phone looks bigger. That is because it is literally heavier, thicker, taller, definitely a bigger 6.7 inch display versus 6.5. But you can see we're ready to go here with the speed test. Let's begin with this calendar, and you could see quite similar. Let's go into calculator. You could see pretty close. We'll go into clock. Again, pretty close. Go to the world clock there. Alarms, stopwatch, timer. Pretty good. We'll go into weather. You could see, once again, pretty good on both phones. Let's head into App Store. And you could see App Store, man, I was using the 11 Pro Max earlier setting up these phones, and I was impressed. I was like, man, I like the looks of this phone with the curved edges. Yeah, the squared edges are the new industrial look, but man, the 11 Pro Max was a beautiful phone in that midnight green. Let's head up out of here. We'll go into Instagram, but still, obviously, the new king on the block is the space black iPhone 14 Pro Max. But you could see performance-wise, this 11 Pro Max is crushing it so far. Definitely doing very well. Let's find a similar post. How about this one when I was on vacation? You could see pretty similar. Zooming in, whatever, pretty good performance. We'll go into Twitter, and you can see Twitter pops open first there on the left. We'll go ahead and hit the profile pages, and this could just go to show how well iOS is performing as well, and just how optimized it is. So Apple's not slowing down their older phones. Doesn't look like they're doing that. That's really good news. You can see on the left that goes to the 14 Pro Max. Performance here looking strong on both. You could see opening up in this Groupon application. Let me lower the brightness a little bit too searing on the eyes, but pretty good. Scrolling very good on both as well. Smoother on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. We'll go into Amazon here. You'll see, again, very close. Let's go ahead and click this deal of the day. You could see you're buying this at the same time. I mean, we're on the same Wi-Fi network, obviously, but this is impressive. Both phones very nice. You could see Best Buy on the left. Here comes the 11 Pro Max, so maybe you're going to grab something at Best Buy a little bit faster, but overall, not a big deal. We'll go into eBay. And you can see eBay is first on the left. So 14 Pro Max says, Nick bro, chill, I'm coming back. There it goes again with another win. I'm not going to let the old boy take me down. But the old boy says, listen, I was the king before, so you better pay homage. You better pay respect to me, buddy, because I was the old king. So you might be the new king, but respect your elders. So definitely the iPhone 14 Pro Max with the win there. We're going to Asphalt 9. Let's see where these go here with Asphalt 9. This does take a little bit more power, and 14 Pro Max has been taking quite a few wins now. So that early on stage, those regular apps, the 11 Pro Max was doing solid, but now looks like the 14 Pro Max pulling ahead. We'll go into Subway Surfers. Is it going to load first on the left? Yes, it does. So definitely pulling ahead now. And that might be due to maybe the RAM, maybe the processor's being pushed a little bit more on the 11 Pro Max now because we are opening a lot of applications. We'll go into Temple Run 2. And let's see if it tells me no. Looks like we have the thing where it's asking me to send notifications. That probably slowed me down. I'll let it load and then I'm going to reload this real quick just because I think that notification thing slowed me down. So let me close this out real quick. Oh, we had a little delay there. That I was actually swiping it correctly. That was some delay. Let me reopen this just to make sure it wasn't those notifications. And see, yeah, it's a little bit closer here. Still, the win is going to the left. So in gaming, major update to the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Not only you're going to get the better battery life, better heat management, you're also going to get the bigger screen and smoother panels. So I would definitely recommend do the upgrade if you love gaming on your Max phone. It'll be definitely worth it for you. Let's head up out of here. We'll go into Lightroom, and you can see Lightroom is first there on the left by far. And now it looks like I was really impressed with the 11 Pro Max early on, and I'm still happy it performs very well. But it's looking like the 14 Pro Max is now starting to show its performance. You could see iMovie on the left. So like when we got past like Starbucks, it started just to pull ahead. 14 Pro Max. So the 14 Pro Max is the winner here in just the app test. All right, guys. So let's run back through the applications now to see if we do get any reloads on either. Looking pretty good so far. Again, we are looking at more RAM on the left side. And looks like we're getting a reload here for the 11 Pro Max. We don't got to wait on it. It's definitely a reload. We'll go into Subway Surfers. A little bit of chop on the right. We'll go into Asphalt 9. Both of them loading this up again. But the 14 Pro Max was good. We'll go into Dead Trigger 2. Starbucks. I don't expect anything here on these basic apps. These don't require a lot to keep open. We'll go into Groupon. But we are getting a reload there. Let's go into Twitter. Pretty good. Instagram. Missed Instagram. Pretty good. We'll go into App Store. We're getting a reload right there. We'll go into weather. So definitely this improved RAM is making the overall performance a little bit better for the iPhone 11, well, actually for the iPhone 14 Pro Max. All right, so here is our scores. You can see a pretty sizable jump in the multi-core score over the iPhone 11 Pro Max on the 14 Pro Max. The single core, not a major jump. That's why I think we've seen a pretty close performance in at least regular applications. Still a pretty decent score on the 11 Pro Max here in 2022. You can see it actually improved over the average on the 11 Pro Max and improved over the average. So iOS 16 probably helping out a little bit there. You can see that the iPhone 14 Pro Max a little bit lower than the M1 iPad, but definitely higher than the 12 Pro, Pro Max, and pretty much most of what came before it. So benchmarks wise, it's still going to go to that 11 or actually that 14 Pro Max. Let's go over here to the 3D Mark and we're going to go ahead and run a wildlife test and just kind of see how this thing does do here. Okay, so while the 11 Pro Max is finishing up, let's take a look at the 14 Pro Max scores. 3377 on that overall result, and that's at an average frame rate of 20.2 FPS. This phone actually has an average frame rate around 15 to 30 in the performance monitoring section. You'll see right here, we only have 8 to 15. So that's like double the performance on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. This is really going to matter in those graphically intensive games. You could also see right there an overall score of 2024, 12, FPS. So definitely, it really just depends on what you guys want to do here with your phone. If you want to do a lot of extreme stuff, you're going to love the iPhone 14 Pro Max. If you want to do a mild amount of extreme stuff, the 11 Pro Max should do just fine. So the last thing I want to do is take a look at the cameras here. We're going to see how fast they do open up these camera lenses here on both phones. They are triple cameras. So let me go ahead and bring this up a little higher because I don't want to miss that tap. Because it's a really big phone, it could get awkward. 3, 2, go. And you can see pretty close. Let me go ahead and close that out and we'll do it one more time. 3, 2, go. And yeah, pretty close. Now, you're not going to miss any samples. You're not going to miss any shots here on either phone. And you do get that extra zoom on the iPhone 14 Pro Max, but it's not too impressive. It's not super far. A lot of camera upgrades though, and man, do you guys see? Just take a look at these cameras here. Look how small the iPhone 11 Pro Max cameras look now compared to these monsters. Look at this. Look how flat this looks. Let's get into focus. Look at this right here. Just absolutely ridiculous sized cameras. So you definitely want to say, I got the new phone. Look at my cameras. Look at these We'll do a full comparison soon on these two. But overall, the winner, obviously the 14 Pro Max. By enough to make you upgrade? I'd say yeah, there's a pretty good amount of performance gains here to this phone, unlike the 12 Pro Max, which was a little bit closer. This one is definitely a go in the performance upgrade section if you want to do an upgrade. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for the full comparison. I'll catch you on the next one. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.